Hey gang, what's up? So it's the end of the year and the festive season, so I thought I'd review something a little bit topical and Christmassy, and in this case very close to home. Nativity is the perfect film for me to review on this channel, as it's one that people have hopefully seen every year for the last 14 years on BBC One, as they can't stop repeating that thing, but it's not commonly reviewed as of its low budget and kind of Christmas nature. However, this 90-minute classic allows you to sit back and relax and let Martin Freeman and Mark Wootton steal the show with their comedic timing. That and the chaotic group of school kids that are running amok the whole time. One of which is my brother, fun fact. Maybe means I have a little bit of a bias towards this film. Anyways, in this video I want to simply break down this film and just sort of put out there why I think people should be watching it and talking about it a bit more. I looked up on YouTube to see if there were many other reviews of this one and there's really not, so I just want to get a conversation started about this classic. Here goes. Released by the BBC in 2009, Nativity was directed by Debbie Izzet with assistance from Nikki Ager for editing and the soundtrack. Since the release of this film, it has gone on to 3 sequels and a stage production. None of those I've seen. I'm quite faithful to the original and have seen the reviews for the others and don't particularly want to ruin that reputation. Previously, Izzet had worked on many productions including Confetti and Nasty Neighbours for screens, and a variety of stage productions. The film's major star is Martin Freeman before his big blockbuster successes in franchises like The Hobbit, Black Panther and the Sherlock TV series. In simple terms, the film follows Freeman as a primary school teacher who has been tasked with running this year's nativity play, while also working under the lie that his girlfriend would be coming back with the support of Hollywood to watch the show. It's a classic lies revealed story, but it works very well in the Christmas spirit. The film was on a budget of just under £2,000, and what's really charming about it is it's heavily improvised by a lot of its younger cast. The film's production took place back in 2008, a year before release, in the summer back in Coventry, which would have meant those dark scenes would have been happening very late at night, I guess. This is a very easy watch and a great way of getting into the Christmas season. The story is fairly self-explanatory and falls into the lies revealed trope, where a character will have this big lie that spreads throughout the film until the third act where it's revealed, and then they all sort of put their differences aside and work together anyway. It's a formula that does work wonders in film and opens itself up to any audience. Throughout the story, Freeman's Mr. Maddens goes through a logical and fulfilling character arc, going from hating to loving Christmas again, and it's something that's really uplifting for this time of year. It does leave a few questions unanswered, like the girlfriend coming back from the States, does she like completely leave her career? But these aren't things that you're particularly interested in, as it's the central love story between them and the school kids that matter. The story doesn't necessarily need an antagonist, but Jason Watkins, Gordon Shakespeare and his private school kids are a perfect opposition to the main cast. Gordon is a great foil for Mr. Maddens, as they were once a trio with Maddens' girlfriend Jennifer before going very different trajectories in life and strangely ending up in very similar situations at different schools. The schools they end up in kind of reflect their personalities. The resolutions at the end of this film do feel a little bit rushed, but at the end of the day you are there for the nativity play and the joy of Christmas, so it doesn't really matter. The focus is definitely on those elements instead, which segues us nicely into discussing those. The nativity itself. This is where this film is an absolute winner. The setting alone is able to capture its audience, as it's not your typical nativity play on a stage in a school. The cathedral really gives it this gravitas and scale that makes it worthy of a film. The original soundtrack for the film is charming and every song gets stuck in your head. Through the songs, Izzet and Ager do a fantastic job of blending that classic nativity story with a more modern twist. My particular favourite of these songs that gets stuck in my head is Sparkle and Shine, but also seeing a bunch of primary school kids trying to be a boy band and the Three Kings at the same time during She's the Brightest Star is quite stunning. Going all out with the real animals also really brings out this performance in unexpected ways. Having an actual camel on stage is one of those. Overall, the set design and costumes are great as they really accentuate the story, but still have that classic primary school aesthetic. However, the thing that works so well about the actual nativity part of the film is that the play itself feels like it's in 3 acts, like a film. Throughout the play they come up with these difficulties and then triumphs that really make the play feel authentic. In an actual stage production you do kind of go through these motions behind the scenes. I would know, I've done quite a few at this point. The best of these difficulties that needs to be overcome, for me personally, is when the lights go out. Yeah, that little 5-year-old kid was my brother. It's just quite fun to tease him about every now and again, just to remind him. I do wonder what the end of the Nativity show was supposed to be, because the candlelight setting after the lights go out feels better than any light show could do. Maybe a forced point in the story, but maybe a more natural transition. Now let's cover a major part of this film that makes me laugh. Health and safety. I always enjoy this film for the absurd places that it ends up going, like taking a bunch of primary school kids to go see some babies being birthed, and to a farmyard to steal animals, and you've got the harness for Gabriel during the performance, and then worst of all, you've got abducting 2 primary school kids to take them to LA. Abduction. This film has actual abduction in it. But it's like in a fun way, so what gives? It's one of the highlights of the film and really adds to the comedy of it, though some people may be uncomfortable with it these days, but back then, very much fun. It was a lot more fun when films could deal with these things and they'd not be flagged up, so I'm glad that it went to the length it did. These are things that constantly make this film a hidden gem, and you're sat there gasping and wondering what's going to happen next. Unless this is the 1000th time you've seen it for, in which case you're just along for the ride. Although Freeman and Wooten are very much at the front of this film, fueling the emotional and comedic moments, it's really the cast of kids that make this film so rewatchable. All of them are clearly defined and just allowed to be themselves. Many of the cast do have smaller character moments that really make this feel like an ensemble cast rather than just these 2 leads. You are able to connect with them all in different ways, and they are quite archetypal with the class, so everyone has someone to relate to. It's a bit of a shame that none of these kids are headlines 14 years later, but it usually is the case with child actors, I've got to say. A lot of them are still doing successfully on stage productions, and that is great to see. It's kind of crazy to think that they're all in their 20s now though. Martin Freeman does a smashing job of portraying this man on his knees that's still got some passion and joy left to give, and needs to refine it. His dedication in this lower budget production really shows why he's an actor that's sought after these days. This is one of 2 major Christmas films from the 2000s that he stars in, the other being Love Actually, which is a very different sort of film, but both classics. Completing the central double act is Mark Wootton as Mr. Poppy, everyone's favourite classroom assistant. In this film I think there's a good balance of his wacky and lovable aspects of his personality, whereas from what I've seen in the sequels it leans more towards the former. However, in this original film Wooten is a joy to watch and really gives you the love of Christmas that Mr. Madden is missing. Wooten has worked on various other comedic films, including Arthur Christmas, another Christmas movie that's an absolute great, and Confetti, which was directed by Debbie Izzet previous to this one. And finally, the other standout performance is of course Jason Watkins as Gordon. The energy he brings to Gordon is exactly that theatricality you'd expect from a private school drama teacher. I think Gordon as a character needed a better resolution, but once again this isn't a film that's designed to do that sort of thing. Watkins has also been very successful over the years, starring in many TV series such as The Crown and Line of Duty, which switch up his comedic side, showing the range that this actor has. It's quite impressive. There are also several other great performances, but a lot of these adult parts aren't as substantial, so I don't really need to get into a lot of them here. Just go watch the film and you can enjoy them too. So, a much shorter review here than previous, but I really just wanted to flag this film rather than go in depth into it. It's an exceptional holiday film and definitely worth a watch. Just sit back, relax, and be disappointed at Buddy when he flicks the lights out during the end of the film. Never forgive him. Overall, 7 out of 10. Not the greatest film, but a very good celebration of what Christmas is and what low budget films can achieve. Well, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from me. I know there's a bit of a delay on this one, but hopefully you're still in the Christmas spirit just about. This will be my last review for 2023 and I will be back in 2024 hopefully with a video every other week. I think there will be a lot more going on in my life and it's quite demanding doing a week. Thank you for your continued support, and please have a look through my other reviews if you haven't already. I'll probably be putting a few community polls up over the next week to see what you want to see from my channel going forward. I'm still learning and I'm very eager to hear your reviews in the comments as well. It's great feedback, thank you so much. Do subscribe to keep up with everything that I'm doing here. I really want to grow this channel over time. It's been great fun so far. At 100 subscribers, I will still have the aim to make a ranking of all of the animated Disney films from across the years, from Snow White to the latest one, Wish. Go check out my review on that one as well. Till next time, Happy New Year folks. Let's hope 2024 is a good one.